complete summary of today's events and your first look at tomorrow. Reported by Dave Shea, Maggie Jensen, meteorologist Dave Town, and Storm Track 2, and Pete Cipher on sports. This is Iowa Tonight.
Tonight, Central City remembers Iowans missing in action, how employee investment will bring jobs to independence, and Vanessa Williams pays the price for her penthouse pictures. Good evening. Families of soldiers missing in action in the Vietnam War have new hope tonight that they will someday find out what happened to those men.
Recent changes in the Catholic Church have made it much easier for Catholics to get their marriages annulled. In part 2 of his cover story, Tom Bridey reports on the reason for the change in the church and how it relates to a changing society.
Last night we met the Legrands.
Penthouse pictures will cost Miss America.
That's coming up on Iowa Tonight.
In the proud and thriving town of Cedar Rapids.
Reagan's campaign call to Iowans and why he almost decided not to come. I'm Maggie Jensen.
I'm Barry Butters. Also tonight, guards say there's a serious security breach at the Anamosa Reformatory, and students ask the Regents for a smaller tuition hike.
Those stories and more next on 2 Action News.
Now, a complete look at today's news. Reported by Dave Shea and Maggie Jensen, meteorologist Dave Town, and Storm Track 2, and Pete Cipher on sports. This is 2 Action News.
Good evening. Dave Shea is on vacation. It was one of the major events in eastern Iowa this year. And
well, I don't think we'll have to worry about that in a few days. We have some changes in the forecast. We'll tell you about the weekend weather in a moment.
That's our news for now.
And we'll be back at 10 with Iowa Tonight. Join us then. Voter turnout is higher than expected. I'm Barry Butters at the Lynn County Election Office. I'll have a live report.
I'm Maggie Jensen.
I'm Dave Shea. We'll have a report on the candidates voting. Iowa's unions are at the crossroads because of the farm recession. Joe Wilkinson will have a special report. We'll show you how to winterize your car. Dave Town says you may need that winterizing soon.
And Hayden Fry is mad at just about everyone. Stay tuned. All that and more next on 2 Action News at 6.
Dave Shea, Maggie Jensen, meteorologist Dave Town, sports director Pete Cipher. This is 2 Action News at 6.
Good evening. It's Election Day across the nation.
Coming up, our Iowa at the Crossroads series continues.
Joe Wilkinson looks at the future of labor unions in the state. And that's our news at 6.
We will be back with election coverage shortly after 7 o'clock and with Iowa Tonight at 10. Join us then.
We know what matters.
Now, live from Channel 2 News, complete coverage of Campaign 88. Tonight, the Iowa caucuses. Now, here are Dave Shea and Lori Stevens.
And we have some late figures to report to you on.
When we return, Dave Town will join us with a cold winter forecast. That's next on this special Caucus Night edition of the Channel 2 News.
Later in the week, yes it will.
Okay, thanks Dave. Stay with us for more on this special Channel 2 News Caucus Night report. When we come back, Pete Cipher with sports and a new college hoops poll. Much, Pete. We will take a break, and when we come back, more on the 1988 Iowa caucus with Dave Shea and Lori Stevens and the entire Channel 2 News staff. Stay with us.
We'll be back with more in just a moment. That's our Channel 2 coverage of caucus night for now.
We're going to Dan Ratherin's CBS coverage in Des Moines next. Then we'll be back with more live local coverage at 11.
Coming up on a special edition of the Channel 2 News.
Voters go to the polls to decide the candidates for governor and Congress.
Another storm brings damage to eastern Iowa.
And a small-town hospital runs out of money. I'm Kristen Dodd.
I'm Pete Seifert. Those stories and all the election results next on a special edition of the Channel 2 News.
This is the Channel 2 News at 10 with Pete Seifert, Kristen Dodd, John Bear Sports, and weather with meteorologist Mark Stroud.
The candidates voted early. Now you voted too.
And when we come back, we'll go live again via News Star 2 to Des Moines for more on the Democratic gubernatorial nomination.
Plus, we'll have the rest of the day's news, so stay with us.
The Channel 2 News continues now with a look at today's agribusiness report.
And meteorologist Roger Evans joins us now. Mark.
Coming up on a special edition of the Channel 2 News at 6.
Ragbri riders descend on Cedar Rapids, fighting a strong wind.
We'll tell you what the Ragbri stop means for food and beverage vendors along the way.
And we'll take you live to a Rag Bash celebration in Marion. I'm Pete Seifert.
I'm Amy Johnson. Join us as we celebrate Iowa with Ragbri next on the Channel 2 News at 6.
This is the Channel 2 News at 6 with Pete Seifert, Amy Johnson, John Bear Sports, and weather with meteorologist Mark Stroud.
You're looking at an aerial shot of Norridge Park in Cedar Rapids, the site of the largest tent city probably in the country tonight. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of the Celebrate Iowa on the Channel 2 News.
It's quite a sight.
It's going to be quite a night here tonight.
Yeah, it sure is. And there is other news today that is not Ragbri related. We'll bring you up to date when we come back.
And Mark Strell will tell these campers and the riders what kind of weather they can expect tonight and tomorrow as they head down to Washington. We're going to have more on all the Ragbri activities here at Norridge Park, also the Rag Bash over in Marion. You're going to show us Tent City tonight.
I'm going to show you Tent City tonight. Thanks for helping us celebrate Iowa live with Ragbri.
We'll see you at 10.